Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Amish Rebel podcast. We're grateful that you're tuning in with us today. Today, Lavanna and I are having a conversation again about the Amish and some of the things that the Amish do or don't do. And the topic that we're going to be covering today should be a very interesting one for you, and you may not be aware of it, but we're going to talk about our Amish, do they participate in gay activity, and also are there any Amish murderers and or any serious crimes committed within the Amish community. So I hope you find this conversation interesting today, and like I said, thank you for tuning in. We're going to get right into it, and we'll answer those two questions along the way. But I just want to say that I know from my personal experience growing up, we've heard about the story that we're about to cover today for a long time, and it was pretty close to home because we live next door to the family that this story was a part of. So do you want to add anything to that? I know you're familiar with the story, and
not really. Don't really want to add anything on to it. No.
Okay. Did you end up? So the story that we're talking about, there's a book that is actually written, and it's called Little Boy Blue. So have you read that book?
Nope. I did not know there was a book about it until just the other day.
Oh, okay.
So, I hadn't read it.
Yeah. So there is a book written about this story that we're covering, and I personally have not read the book. I would love to read the book now that we're going to be talking about it, but I just thought this is one example of the topic that we're going to be covering today. There's many examples of it, and we'll touch on some of those as well. But the book that we're talking about currently it's called Little Boy Blue, and the Amish. I mean, it's a very well-known book within the Amish community because of the serious crimes that were committed. The book is pretty well forbidden within the Amish, they like keep it from, I guess, kids reading it, which is very understandable. I remember growing up, and I was in my teenage years, and one of the kids from the community had the book, but they wouldn't allow us to read it because, like, it was just like a hush-hush thing because of all the crimes that were committed and the things that were talked about. But anyway, so we're talking about the topic. Are there any gay Amish?
Mm-hmm.
So do you know of any gay Amish? Or lesbians for that matter?
No, not that are Amish currently. I know of plenty that are ex-Amish, but they didn't come out until after they left the Amish.
Oh, okay.
Which is very typical because if they would come out while they're Amish, they wouldn't last long. Either they wouldn't last long being gay or lesbian, or they wouldn't last long being Amish because the two don't go together.
Yeah, so what you're saying is they address it immediately. Like you cannot be gay and be Amish, or you cannot be a lesbian and be Amish, right?
Not if they know it. Like not if the church knows about it.
Yeah, so that's why you don't ever hear about it,
mm-hmm.
because like as soon as it's found out, they immediately address it, or they get kicked out of the church, or they end up leaving the Amish, and then they come out of the closet, so to speak.
Yeah.
But yes, there are gay Amish, and I'm sure there's a lot of active gay Amish to this day because they don't talk about it. That's why the whole, we made a video about sex and just the fact that the Amish don't talk about sex, and I think that is one of the reasons, because they don't want to they just avoid addressing certain things that are going on within the community. And especially like, the whole gay thing, like they wouldn't want to address that. I mean, they just shy away from it. But occasionally, like one of the stories we just recently learned about is a man that is very well known within the community, and he got caught in the act of being gay. And so being caught in the act of being gay within an Amish community is like putting gas on a fire. I mean, those rumors just spread like from community to community to community, and especially if it's someone that's fairly well known. Even if you are not that well known, it's kind of like posting a video that goes viral. I mean, that's how something like that spreads within the Amish community, because that's just like gossip that they feed on, and everybody finds out about it, even if you didn't know the person. So that's probably another reason why those things are not talked about as much, because they don't want to be exposed.
Yeah, and they don't talk about it among all of them. It would just be among the adults. Like the younger kids won't ever hear about this stuff.
Yeah, if somebody gets
like if someone gets exposed or to something like that is going around in the Amish, the young kids won't hear about it.
Yeah, most of the time, because it's just kind of like whispered about amongst the community, and you may hear rumors about it because as a kid, you may be in certain conversations, but yes, a lot of the young kids are protected from it. But so that answers the question: Are there any gay Amish? Yes, there are definitely gay Amish, and it's just not talked about a whole lot. And there's definitely none that are actively gay that you would really know about. Yeah. Because there's no way to. They
can't flaunt their pride flags like, like people in this world.
Yeah. They wouldn't have the freedom within the community to be able to do that. And then, as far as like more serious crimes being committed, like murders, there's definitely some murders. I mean, over the years, I've heard of some stories, none anywhere in our family that I'm aware of, but there's, thankfully.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's one thing our very colorful family doesn't have.
What do you mean by colorful?
Well, we have a lot of ex-Amish, like pretty much 3/4 of the family is ex-Amish. And we've had house fires where 3 of the uncles, 3 of Inez's brothers died when they were little kids. Like, stuff has happened in our family, but thankfully not that.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of like very tragic accidents that have happened. Like house fires is a very common thing amongst the Amish community, because they don't have smoke alarms and they use wood to heat the houses, and they have chimneys, so they don't have like a furnace or anything like that. Or at least not the way we grew up. We only heat it with wood, so you're constantly burning wood 24/7. And we lived in Minnesota, so it's like super cold, and so sometimes like the chimney would overheat, it would catch on fire. I remember being a kid and the chimney caught on fire. Everybody had to rush outside in the freezing cold because there was flames coming out of the top of the chimney, and they were trying to put the chimney fire out. That happened multiple times when I was a kid.
I only ever remember one chimney fire. When I was a little girl, Mom and Dad had left us at home by ourselves, which happened a lot. Like, that happens a lot among the Amish with the older kids. Because if the parents want to go somewhere, they don't want to take all the kids. They'll leave some of the older ones, say 6 and 7 years old, at home by themselves. And they left us at home by ourselves, and we found chocolate chips in the pantry, and we decided to melt these and make ourselves some Amish Christmas candy while they're gone, a treat. And we were melting the chocolate chips, and we wanted the water to get hot quick, so we like stoked up the fire and added a lot of wood. And all of a sudden, the neighbors came down, like they lived up the hill from us, so they could see our chimney. The neighbors came down to the house and told us that our chimney's on fire. And they came, told us, and then they ran over to the other neighbors where our parents were visiting, and told them, and they rushed home, and everything was fine. Like, we didn't even do anything special except shut the stove off. Like,
yeah, because it builds up a certain amount of like soot inside the chimney, and then eventually that chimney will catch fire, and it'll burn it all out. And it's actually a healthy thing if it's controlled. Our chimneys were so old that they would get really hot, and the walls would get hot, and then eventually the walls would catch on fire. And that happened multiple times. But if they build them right, it doesn't do that. Yeah, if it's a new chimney, we just grew up in an old farmhouse. It's
a wonder like our house didn't burn down ever, because we had so many incidents where something caught on fire in the house and it just went out by itself. Like,
yeah, you have stove fires, because even in the kitchen, the only way that you cook is with a wood stove.
And sometimes they use those little kerosene heater stoves where they have open flame, and most of them pop their popcorn on there because that's high heat. Like, they use the kerosene one for high heat, because the wood stove it can get hot enough, but it's hard to get it hot enough to do that. So we usually use that, and there you use oil to pop popcorn over an open flame. Like, that's very dangerous. And I know we ruined a couple popcorn poppers like that because they caught on fire. But
yeah, that's actually a really good point. We didn't use that kind of kerosene.
Yeah, because Grandma didn't like it. Yeah.
And I think when she probably from the trauma of having fires, like when she did use it, we had it out in the wash house.
Yeah,
so
she also didn't like the oil lamps.
Yeah, but yeah, I kind of got off topic from murders and stuff. And when we talk about our family, we're talking about our immediate family and also extended family. Like, we have, I don't know, do we have hundreds of cousins, maybe?
You do.
I do.
I don't.
Our family is huge, because my mom comes from a family of 16. My dad comes from a family of 6, I think. And then, just on my mom's side, there's multiple families that are over 10. I think there's one that's like 16 as well. So all same mom and dad. And, but yeah, so we have a huge family when it comes to that. And our family is not we don't have a history of criminal records like some families do. But the story that we had mentioned earlier about Little Boy Blue, if you want to know more about that story, like I said, there is a book out. You can check it out. We have nothing to do with the book. We're just simply talking about having the conversations around the fact that there are Amish that commit some serious crimes, and the Little Boy Blue story, because it hits close to home. Like, we grew up next to, we were neighbors to the guy. His sister was the one that was married to this guy. So his name was Dan Gingrich, and then it would have been his sister that was married to the guy that ended up committing the crime. And basically, he ended up murdering his pregnant wife, and then eventually he took the life of his son as well, and so many others. But he did end up
he didn't get caught when these things happened. Like, they didn't know it was him at the time, so
yeah,
he was free for years after he did it.
Yeah, it took a long time for him because there's so many. And if you read the book, if you care to read the book, I will just alert you that it's very disturbing from what I've been told. I have not read the book myself, but there's a lot of details in it, and we may go into more details on another episode. But we just kind of wanted to address the immediate question if there are those kinds of crimes committed in the Amish. And there are definitely some crimes like that committed in the Amish community. I know of another one that, this guy like fed his wife.
Battery acid.
Yeah, battery
acid. That one
acid.
was also very close. That happened like 30 miles from where I grew up. Like, my parents know the person.
Wow.
That did that.
Yeah, and there, I feel like there's one more that I'm not super familiar with. That was.
I don't know what the book is called, but there's a book about that one bishop. His name was Mueller?
Okay.
Mullet. And I don't know.
Sam Mullet?
Sam Mullet, yes. That is a serious, like, Amish horror story.
Yeah. Yeah, Sam Mullet has been all over the news.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Like, Google Sam Mullet. I'm pretty sure something will come up.
Oh, for sure. They've been committed. They've been in the news a lot.
Yeah.
Like that group of people. I mean, he had kind of his own little gang almost. Mm-hmm. And that's a very disturbing story. And I think like the one thing that I look back on, just with all of these stories is these families that, you have certain pockets within the Amish community of families that just live in a very dark environment. Mm-hmm. And I mean, the Amish, the way we grew up, the culture, it's already a dark environment.
Like
you just
secretive, like
very secretive. Not only is it secretive, but just like your everyday life, like the houses are dark. They have very dim lights, in the evenings. Mm-hmm. Their barns are dark. Like everything is operated. So if you look at the entire environment, they create a dark environment.
Yeah.
And then a lot of them participate in some very dark stuff that they don't, they might bring it to the church and they get, they repent from it, so to speak, but it's never brought to the law and actually, they don't actually address it.
And just so you guys know, the guy that did murder his wife and then later his son, the little boy blue guy, he was gay too when he did that.
Yeah.
So that's how the gay got mixed in here. Like, he was gay when he did that.
And there's.
And he was participating in gay activities among the Amish. When he was still Amish, so. Yeah,
there's a lot there to unpack with that story. Mm-hmm. I mean, if you guys want us to unpack more of it in another video, please leave your comments and let us know. Do you want to hear more about it?
We'll get the book
and we'll get the book and we'll have somebody on that has already read the book and knows a lot about it and has kind of followed the story. I've looked into it briefly, but I didn't really care to even know all the details about it. But
makes me think of the butterball turkey thing.
What's the butterball turkey?
I hope you guys are seeing this after Thanksgiving, after you have your Thanksgiving dinner or lunch or whatever, because apparently it's come out that people in the butterball turkey factory are assaulting the turkeys.
What?
Like, sexually assaulting the turkeys.
What?
I saw at the beginning of one video and I had already bought my butterball turkey. So I scrolled past. I am not watching any butterball videos until that turkey's eaten because I don't want to know what has been happening to them. Like, in this case, ignorance is bliss. And I must stay blissful.
Are you sure that's the right approach?
This time it is.
You might puke. You might puke afterwards.
Next year, I'll just go somewhere else to get my turkey.
You might want to throw that one to the dogs.
It's already in brine. It's too late to go buy another one.
Maybe that's why I don't like turkey as much.
It can be good. I don't know. I just decided I'm not going to deep dive that.
That's just disturbing. The one thing that you guys will hopefully pick up from this is Amish are humans, just like everybody else is human. And although like the world sees the Amish as like this pure community that lives righteous, there are a lot of like really, really good Amish. And there's a lot of things that I still enjoy about the Amish and that I love to participate in because they have a lot of traditions that are really good for family, but they're still human. They still like to have power if it's unchecked. They still do things that are not good, some of them, because they're not held accountable. So anyway, I just thought I'd throw that in there.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that you want to talk about?
Not really, no. I kind of threw my little butterball piece in there, so.
Well, we really, really do appreciate you guys. Man, you have no idea how much it encourages me on a weekly basis to do these videos because of the comments that you guys leave. And I've been able to go through and read some of the comments, and you're so kind, and you're constantly saying how you enjoy this channel and you appreciate the content. And so we just want to make sure that we never forget that, and we're always super grateful to see those comments. So please share this video with someone in your family if you feel like it was worth your time doing so. And we look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thank you.